These days, at the forefront of most youth workers' minds is, how do I minister to parents? I've been in youth ministry since 1988, and in 1988, nobody was thinking about ministry to parents. It was all about just how do we reach more teenagers? How do we reach more teenagers? And then over time, we started realizing, hey, we need to get more volunteers to help us reach more teenagers. And in the last 10 years or so, it's become more and more a focus is this idea of how do we not just reach more teenagers, but how do we minister to mom and dad? You know as well as I do that a very important piece of a teenager's health is the health of their family. You know as well as I do that mom and dad have way more influence, way more time and influence over the lives of their kids than you and I ever will. I think we've made ministry to parents a little bit more intimidating and difficult than it needs to be. I'm of the opinion that most parents just want two things. Really, they just want two things from us. They want hope and they want help. They just want a little bit of hope and a little bit of help. Hope is when you say to a teenage parent, hey, your daughter's not the only one who rolls her eyes at you when you ask her to do her chores. Hey, your son's not the only one who is kind of pushing back against authority. Your son's not the only one who's struggling with his grades. Your daughter's not the only one who is shifting her friendships. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Hang in there. You're going to make it. Every other parent in the history of the world has made it, and you're going to make it too. And you know what? Your kid's going to make it. That's hope. Most parents think they're all alone. They're the only ones struggling with raising their teenagers. You, as a youth worker, just provide them a little bit of hope. And then along the way, provide them a little bit of help. Help is the practical piece of hope, right? It's like, hey, here's an article I read. Here's a book you might be interested in. Here's a mom in our church or in our community who they went through the exact same thing with their daughter, and they'd be willing to take you out to coffee and talk to you about their story and their journey. Here's some counselors. Here's a workshop we're doing. You can't solve every problem. You can't raise their children. You can't disciple their children. But what you can do is partner with them and offer them a little bit of hope, offer them a little bit of help, and be on the same page as best you can with mom and dad. And if you do that alone, you're doing more than most youth ministries ever did up until really the most recent time.